Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to today's Guided Explainer, where we're going to break down an absolutely stunning handmade garment step by step. If you've been looking to elevate your crochet wardrobe, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're walking through the Loomelle Design intermediate level crochet bodycon midi dress. We'll be taking their incredibly detailed pattern notes, charts, and tips and transforming them into a super clear roadmap so you can create this custom fit masterpiece yourself. And hey, even if you've always been a little intimidated by crocheting your own clothes, don't worry at all. I'm going to hold your hand through this entire process.
I mean, just look at the beautiful texture on this dress. It's an elegant, bottom-up constructed midi dress defined entirely by its intricate shell stitch texture, delicate spaghetti straps, and a really striking side slit. Whether you're an adventurous beginner ready to level up your skills or a seasoned intermediate crocheter, by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how this gorgeous form-fitting silhouette comes to life.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with materials and essential skills, move into the skirt and side slit, tackle waist and bust shaping, and wrap up with the straps and final blocking. Let's get to it!
Section 1. Materials and Essential Skills. Getting your prep work right is the absolute secret to a perfectly fitting garment. To achieve the correct drape in that firm fabric for a true bodycon fit, you'll need a 3.5mm hook. That's a US size E/4. But more importantly, you absolutely must use a DK weight 100% cotton yarn. The designer highly recommends mercerized or combed cotton and strictly advises avoiding acrylic. Seriously, acrylic just won't give you the weight and flow required for this dress. You've also got to meet gauge. 20 single crochets should equal exactly 4 inches, and 4 shell rows should equal 2 inches in height. Now, a huge beginner mistake is simply ignoring gauge. If your stitches are too loose, the dress literally won't fit right. So please, do not be afraid to size down to a 3mm hook if you need to.
Depending on the size you're making, you're going to need anywhere from roughly 2,800 yards for an extra small up to 3,750 yards for an extra large. And just to make sure we're all speaking the exact same language here, this pattern uses standard US crochet terminology. You'll frequently see abbreviations like CHE for chain, SC for single crochet, which is your nice, tight, basic stitch, DC for double crochet, which is a bit taller and looser, and SL stitch for slip stitch, used to cleanly join things together. It's also vital to understand DEC for decreases and INC for increases, because we'll be using those heavily when we start shaping.
The foundational mechanic of this entire dress is the shell stitch. To make one shell, you'll work a double crochet and a chain 1 space 4 times, finishing with a 5th double crochet, and all of that goes into the exact same stitch. This creates a really beautiful wide fan shape. But here's the real magic of this pattern. The shell stitch naturally creates horizontal stretch. That built-in stretch is the exact reason why this dress won't need a zipper or elastic to perfectly hug your curves.
Okay, Section 2. The skirt and side slit. Grab your yarn because we are officially building this garment from the bottom up.
Step 1 is your foundation chain. This chain has to be a multiple of 6 plus 2 extra stitches, and it needs to fit comfortably around your hips. When you join it to form a ring, be incredibly careful not to twist it. A twisted foundation chain is a classic project-ruining mistake. Seriously, take your time and lay it perfectly flat before joining. From there, step 2 is creating this gorgeous 3-row layered scallop hem using half shells. Then, for step 3, you just settle right into the rhythm of the main skirt. You'll continue the shell stitch pattern in the round for about 44 rows, which is roughly 22 inches, working straight up toward your natural waist.
Now, as you approach the upper thigh area, we introduce the slit. During the last 16 rows of the skirt section, you're going to place a marker at the right side seam and actually divide your work. Now, dividing panels can feel a little scary for beginners, but it's actually super simple. Instead of working in the round, you'll now just work back and forth in rows for the front and back panels separately. This gives you a structural 4-inch opening. And don't worry if 4 inches sounds small right now, because of the cotton and the shell stitch pattern, this is going to naturally expand to about an 8-inch slit after blocking. You'll finish those edges neatly with a crab stitch, which is basically a reverse single crochet, just to stop it from curling up.
Section 3. Waist and bust shaping. This is where we transform a straight tube into a form-fitting, tailored silhouette. Let's look at the math behind the shaping. To bring the waist in, you're going to decrease at 4 distinct points along the sides. You do this by brilliantly swapping out your wide shell stitches for compact single crochet sections, staggering these decreases across 8 rows. Then, once you hit the narrowest part of your waist, you just reverse that exact same math for the bust. Over another 8 rows, you reintroduce those full, wide shells at your marker points to increase the fabric back out to comfortably match your bust measurement. It is such a genius, seamless way to shape without disrupting the overall pattern of the dress.
Once you reach the top of the bodice, which is about 14 inches above the waist, we finalize the structure. You are so close to the finish line here. First, you divide the work again into front and back panels. To create that flattering scoop neckline, you'll intentionally bind off the center 30% of the front stitches. Then, you'll shape the shoulders using single crochet decreases over 4 rows. And finally, create clean armholes by just leaving 15% of your stitches completely unworked at the sides.
Finally, Section 4, Straps and Final Blocking. Patience in these final steps is what elevates a handmade piece into true, professional quality fashion.
Let's build those elegant spaghetti straps. You'll join your yarn at the front anchor point and chain about 55 to 60 stitches, which is roughly 11 to 12 inches. Slip stitch that right to the corresponding back anchor point. But we aren't stopping at a flimsy little chain. You will work 2 rows of single crochet back along that chain to create a really sturdy, double-thick strap. And here's a pro tip. Try the dress on right now before you commit to the length, so you can adjust that chain for the perfect snug fit on your own shoulders.
You absolutely must pay attention to the designer's crucial warning regarding wet blocking. Loomelle Design specifically notes, cotton typically gains 10 to 15% in length after wet blocking. This matters so much. When you first try the dress on straight off the hook, it might look a little short or even stiff. Do not panic. Submerging your 100% cotton dress in cool water, pinning it to your measurements, and letting it dry is absolutely essential. It opens up all those beautiful shell stitches and gives you that extra length and incredible drape.
Let's hit a few final rapid-fire maker's tips straight from the designer to make sure your dress lasts for years. Like we said, avoid acrylic, stick to cotton. If your stitches look loose, drop down to a 3.0mm hook. When you block those double-fixed straps, lay them over a rolled-up towel so they don't dry flat and curly. Definitely use that crab stitch to keep the side slit neat. And finally, for garment care, always hand wash in cool water and dry flat. Never tumble dry this unless you want a dress that fits your childhood teddy bear instead of you. The heat will absolutely ruin and shrink your beautiful cotton work.
Let's take a quick look at the final sizing chart for the finished measurements, which range from extra small to extra large. Keep in mind, these are post-blocking measurements, so really, don't panic halfway through if the piece looks a bit small. For example, if your bust is 36 inches and your waist is 28 inches, you're perfectly aligned for a size medium. And remember what we learned earlier about the shell stitch? Because of its natural horizontal stretch, you do not need to add any ease to these measurements at all. The dress will hug you exactly as it's intended to.
And there you have it. We've traveled from a simple foundation chain all the way through intricate waist shaping and essential wet blocking. You now possess the complete step-by-step blueprint to crochet this custom-fit 100% cotton masterpiece. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Grab your hook, swatch your gauge, and ask yourself, what beautiful colorway are you going to choose for your Bodycon debut? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy crocheting.